Party people, what's going on? This is Samaj Marsh. I'm the founder of BlueDeathValley.com. I want to welcome you back to a special episode of Blue Death After Dark. We changed the format again. Going to have a fun show for you tonight. Talk about the previous game against Bryant. Talk about the season that we've had to date and a myriad of other topics. We also want to extend the invitation to any of the fans who want to get to the show and join the conversation. We're going to have an extended period for that. But a lot of fun. But first of all, let me introduce my co-host. First up, former A&T wide receiver and a Greensboro native, also known as the Rain Man, Mr. Dougie Fresh Browns. Come on, Doug.
Hey, you Pride. What's up, guys?
What's up?
Hey, stay ready. You ain't gotta get ready.
I hear you. That's what I'm talking about.
Hey,
Oh, man,
shout out Auntie Roy, man. Shout out Auntie Roy for that. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, but you addressed for success last Saturday. The elements did not mess you up. You were ready for whatever came down.
As 94 says, Sonny Brown. I had to be Sonny Brown out there, I guess.
Okay, we can dig it. And of course, the brains of the operation. My right-hand man, A&T insider for over 2 decades, and a beat writer on BlueDeathValley.com. You can see his articles right now on the site. Mr. President, Craig Turner. What's going on, Craig?
Nothing much, man. How y'all guys doing tonight?
Man,
CT.
Yeah, it's always good after a win. Always good after a win.
Victory Wednesday, man. How about it?
2 in a row. That's a streak.
So listen. Yeah. So listen, man. The theme of this show, we call it "Can You Stand the Rain?" All right. And first of all, when we started this season off, we lost to Central. Everybody was doom and gloom. Skies were gray. Skies were falling. And then, of course, we went to Fargo and Durham, and those 2 games they finished like everybody predicted they would. We were outmatched. And I think a lot of people wanted to jump off that A&T bandwagon. And some folks were unable to stand the rain at that moment, but I think they might be having second thoughts because now, like Doug said, we're on a 2-game winning streak. And this team is getting better, Craig. Like we are making improvements. The coaching staff is kind of finding their rhythm with play calling and also personnel. They know who they can trust now. Still have some questions about that quarterback position. We still have not kind of just figured out who is the guy that we're going to trust. And I think you see a lack of trust with some of the people that keep saying, well, how come we don't throw to the middle of the field? We're not using tight end. I don't think they really trust anybody to throw in between the hash marks right now with a lot of frequency because, things happen. You get a tip pass and we got this running game. You don't want to waste possessions when you got such a weapon like Tootin and even Graves really that you can hand the ball off and get 4 or 5 yards whenever you need it. But Doug, my first question to you is, what were your thoughts on the Martian Machine's ability to stand the rain, on Saturday? Because that was a hot topic. They were surprisingly absent for that big game.
Well, initially everybody was a little caught off guard, but looking back, hindsight is definitely 2020.
Right.
And it comes down to planning and leadership and the safety of the kids. And Tyler Ball captured it in his Facebook post, and it really came down to, from what I understand, the band planning ahead and listening to reports and talking with administration and coming to what was a pretty sound, smart decision ahead of time. When we've seen other areas where, the forecast changed or the pattern or the path of the storm, kind of shifted or changed and folks were affected. So, I think in looking back, a smart decision anytime you err on the side of caution and you put the kids' safety first. There were a bunch of contributing factors, whether or not the school had power or communication and the status of the campus on Friday. There's a bunch of things we don't take into account as fans. It's easy for us to make a decision to jump in the car, head over to the stadium, and enjoy a Saturday evening game.
But you said you lost power on your side of town, right?
Oh, we did. We didn't have power till I think late late Saturday night, almost when it was time to pack up at the tailgate. You know, it came on and went off, and we had other plans, but we were able to get back in the house sometime after midnight. But yeah, you know, those things come into account, and so they made a decision, and in the end, it was a good decision. We came out with the win, and you know, we definitely won't be thinking about it this time next week. So, you know, they captured it. They made a decision, so we'll go with it. You know, the band has a busy schedule, and they've been hitting the mark. They've been hitting the mark. They got some other things coming, and really have had probably one of the most exciting early September, early falls that I can remember. So I don't worry about the band. My worry isn't whether or not the band is going to be in place here going forward. I can tell you that much.
So Craig, you cool with the Machine taking a day off on a home game, or?
Yeah, I had no problem with it. I had no problem. I understood the logic of it. It wasn't that big of a deal to me.
Gotcha.
I would love to have had the band there, but yeah, given everything that was going on, it's better to err on the like Doug said, it's better to err on the side of caution. So I don't have a problem with it. The fans that were there were plenty loud. I think
and the cheerleaders,
the true football fans were out there Saturday night.
I gotta give a little credit to Chief Meteorologist Craig Turner, who predicted.
We lost Doug. We was giving you props. Go ahead. Unmute yourself. You're muted, Doug. Come on, Doug. You shut your first rodeo. There you go. There you go. Saying,
all right. Craig, you nailed it. You nailed the forecast, man. You called for rain at 7 p.m. There was rain at 7 p.m. It did clear out. But you said rain early and rain at kickoff, and that's exactly what we had. So kudos to you and your part-time job as meteorologist, chief meteorologist.
Right. But yeah, for real though, that was a lot. It was a wild day because it was on the heels of Hurricane Ian, and we saw what happened in Florida. That was crazy. Thoughts and prayers going out to everybody in that region still trying to recover. That looked like that's some serious damage that they're trying to figure out.
Yeah, but Bethune-Cookman got hit hard, man.
Oh, really?
They got tore up. They're closed down for the foreseeable future. So.
Oh man, yeah. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. So and my only thing is I wish one of those blind spots that we as a university still kind of have is that communication. So we would it would be kind of cool if we would have sent out a mass something, email or text us, hey guys, I know everybody's excited about this football game, but one of the big draws is not going to be here. That was kind of a shocker. And, you don't like surprises like that. And I just want everybody to understand that this is my message to the band community. It's like, I get a lot of flack from band people sometimes, but the main purpose of the Blue and Gold March Machine and any college marching band is to play musical entertainment for the football games. We don't have the band hanging out in the Holland Bowl, playing the people coming out of the calf. We don't have the band at baseball games. The band is for football. So that's got to always be the priority. I just want people to understand, things happen, but moving forward, always understand that home football games have the utmost priority over any other thing that you might be wanting. Because I know the band loves to do other stuff in the community. They travel. I think they're going to Orlando this week, right?
Hey, Marching Band 69 is gearing up right now. He will be on this horn real soon to answer all your
I want to talk to him. I want to talk to him. Anybody from the band, you got a hotline. We're going to put the link to this show in the chat real quick. But let's get back to football. So oh man, we had a rainy. We're back. We had a rainy day in Aggie Stadium, Truist Stadium, but I thought that the guys had a lot of focus and especially on the sideline. I was on the sideline during the whole game, and I just got a sense that everybody was locked in. You didn't see usually they got all the people who are injured or whatever, or just not dressed out. They got their little towels, and they're getting rowdy and getting into it with the players on the field. They were kind of subdued. Everybody was just, let's just play some football here. And I think that game plan was excellent. Obviously, when you got somebody like Tootin, you're gonna always have a pretty strong game plan. But 24-13 was the final. We jumped out 14-0. Fowler, as we expected, got the start, and out of the first 3 drives, he led 2 touchdown drives, and then lo and behold, he comes out. I thought he might have got injured or something, but we go with Yeager. Doug, were you surprised by that quarterback change at that point?
Not necessarily at that point. We've gone in the game saying that we were going to play 2 quarterbacks. I can't say I'm surprised. I can say that maybe I wouldn't have put him in at that time, but I also don't know what the plan for the week was. If the plan was, hey, we're going to go 2 possessions and then we're going to play the next guy, then you kind of stick to your plan. But also, I think that we may be, I think intentional, right? I don't think we went into it and just threw him in there. That's something we don't know. And let's always remember there may be something that we don't know. Situations change on the ground at times, and something might have happened during the game. But, I think we are preparing for what it's going to take to win the Big South Championship. And it may be in our coach's mind and inside our coach's staff room that it's going to take more than one quarterback, maybe one skill set to win a championship. I think we know exactly who we got to go through and the teams that we got to beat and what lies ahead on our schedule. And so I think everything that we do is in part of that process and building up to hopefully playing our best when we need to be playing our best. So that's what I attribute it to. I think both kids can play. I think they have, both had opportunities to play. But I also believe that Yeager hadn't had a chance to really get into the rhythm that we'd like to see him get into.
But
so
see,
I think that's part of
he's coming off the protocol. He's still he's fresh out of the concussion protocol, and then you throw him in there. I mean, you give him a 14-0 lead, but I just Craig, my whole thing is
right. Well, let me ask you this though: Would you feel better if we put him in up 14 late in the third quarter, late in the fourth? I mean, I think it's just. I think if you're gonna put him in with a 14-point lead, maybe you put him in early, knowing that. One thing we know about Jalen Fowler, he's comfortable being thrown in the game whenever, right? He's played a backup role. So we know what Jalen, we won't say what his ceiling is. We know what his potential is. And we also know that he's comfortable coming in the game in the spur of the moment. If he has to split drives or split series, he's okay with that. So maybe we want to get Yeager used to being thrown in the game and playing on the spot. Maybe he needs to get used to being playing in the backup role. So I think it's done intentionally. I think you put him in different situations. It also speaks to whether or not our coaches felt that the other major threat, right? Like if you really feel you're facing a team that's going, be a high-flying offense go up and down the field on you, maybe you don't make that move. But maybe the coaches knew a little bit about.
I don't like that though. You can't be playing. I mean, this is still the first conference game of the year.
I'll tell you this: we held those guys. Listen. I how much film have we watched on Bryant? Like true game film, not a lot. We've seen highlights and we've seen what's available to us on the internet. I'd like to think that they knew that team and know our team inside and out and felt pretty comfortable. I mean, guys, for the first time this season, we led from wire to wire, right? We got up 14. We've been a second half team. They had a little bit of success moving the ball for that one moment, but I think you saw our scheme show up, and we'll talk more about how we play defense and what we do on the back end. But we kind of saw our scheme start to come together, right? We saw us do what we've been doing. We saw the guys in the scheme make some plays, and we talked early on from the onset about we got to make some plays, right? We have to get our timing down and get some reps and jump some balls, and we saw that late. We saw guys making plays. So when I look back at it, we held the team to 38 yards rushing, right? We made them pretty much one-dimensional. Eckhouse is a guy who likes to use his legs at times, and you saw the line. He thought he could just get around the outside, and I think we surprised him with our speed. We weren't giving him much, right? He could complete a few passes, which our defense is allowed and designed to let you catch those passes in front of us And they made some plays over top with number 5, and Eckhouse made some throws. He throws that Russell Wilson style deep ball where he puts it up and kind of lets guys run underneath it.
Yeah.
Which, you know, as a receiver, you like that because you can adjust. It's tough for a defensive back to make a play on unless you got a guy like Prenti on the other side. But, you know, we made them pretty much one-dimensional guys, and they weren't able to run the football. They weren't able to really do much of anything, and we stifled them up front. And looking back on the game, if we'd have told you we were going to win the game, how we won the game, and by that score, we'll take that all day, right? Yeah. Looking back, I'll take that. And like you said, we got to start giving our guys credit on defense. But we put together some good defensive performances, and we're still getting better and learning and playing together in the second half. So I saw some really positive things. We'll talk more about it, but that's my quick take on what we look like out there. So.
All right, so Craig, tell me about that quarterback rotation. Are you cool with it? Because, you know, I have some thoughts about it, but you tell me how did you see I guess Yeager, Fowler got 2 series, then Yeager got 2, I think, and then they kind of just, I think they flip-flop one more time, but I know Fowler ended up getting the majority in the second half. So what do you think about just the rotation?
I kind of understand what they were trying to do, and trying to put Yeager into a situation to feel him out, to come in while the game is still in some doubt and give him some experience in that regard. But to tell you the truth, I thought it was a bad substitution. We were in an offensive early in the ball game. We had gotten into a rhythm right out the box.
Yes, 14-0.
And Bryant was having all sorts of trouble picking up what we were doing. I felt like if we had kept Jalen in for one more series, we probably could have busted that game open early.
Yeah, I thought the hammer was coming because I
thought it was too.
They had like 3 and outs in their first 3 possessions, I think.
Right. Yeah. And they were we had them on their heels. Yeah. And I think once we pulled Jalen out, it changed. It changed the entire offensive flow, and we didn't seem to be in sync after that for the rest of that half. So, I understand what the coaching staff had tried to do or intended to do, but that was not the place or the time to do it.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys a question.
Let me bring 94 in real quick because he's been waiting for a second.
94, my guy.
What's going on, fellas? How we doing this evening?
We doing all right.
I'm doing good.
So go ahead, Doug. Get a question.
So let me ask you a question. If that was Eli Brickhandler coming in the third drive,
I don't care. Listen, I don't care if it was.
I don't care. It wouldn't matter.
Patrick Mahomes.
What if we go down the field? What if we go down the field and we score and we look prolific? Because we did the same thing the last game, guys. We came in with Eli Brickhandler. On the other drive, when Yeager went out, we sent him in, right? And Eli started going down the field. And no one was complaining that Eli Brickhandler was in the game when he had to go in the game early last week, right?
But Eli Brickhandler didn't go in after the previous quarterback had scored a touchdown. Like, I just don't want to mess up that rhythm. Like, if I don't care.
Let me ask you this question.
Listen. If Alan Hooker is starting the game, right, for whatever reason, Austin Hookers is starting the game for whatever reason, and he goes 2 straight touchdown drives. I want Hooker to stay in there until he at least has a turnover on downs. If you do not make a mistake, you shouldn't come out. That's my philosophy.
I got you, and I'm gonna let 94 roll, but I'm telling you, I want you to think deep and hard about this. What is it gonna take, in your honest opinion? Who we gonna have to go through to win the Big South? That's our number one goal, right? At this point in time, without looking past anybody.
Campbell.
Who do we have? We're trying to beat Campbell, right?
Okay.
Maybe, just maybe, we believe that we might need to run the football and pass the football and use the quarterback's legs to beat Campbell, right? Is it a fair statement to say that we may need to apply some pressure on Campbell's defense by utilizing the quarterback's legs, right?
Okay, well, hold that thought because I'm gonna show you something real quick, 94. Before you start, somebody keeps asked us.
We're gonna talk about this.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about this. Somebody asked, what is the status of Eli Brickhandler? So right now, I asked that question after the game Saturday in the post-game press conference. And the sense that I get is that it's going to be a while. So he didn't say he's out for the season. He said it wasn't like a tear on the ACL or anything like that. He said it basically was a pain management issue. And Eli is tough. He's tough as nails. Like his last name would suggest, brick handler. But I just get the sense that we're not going to see him for a while. So don't think he's coming back in 2 weeks. I just don't get that sense from basically the tone that Coach Washington delivered at that press conference. But 94, what's going on, bro? How you been doing?
My guy.
Hey, like I said,
section
fellas,
mate right there.
There we go. Up at the top.
Yes, sir.
I think channeling Coach Broadway, all wins are good wins, and I think that the sum total was overwhelmingly positive. I personally have some questions, but I really think that you all captured it. We're beginning to build on something, and what I'm most excited about really is that I don't think we've reached our full potential yet.
I don't think so either.
Nowhere near it.
And 94 last week, I think it was it Billy J was on here. I asked him, after Central, if someone told you that, in 4 more games that we'd be sitting at 2 and 3, how would you accept that reality? And I think anybody would be like, that's pretty good, because you're going to lose to North Dakota State, more than likely. You're going to lose to Duke. And so to be able to turn that thing now with 2 and 3, but more importantly, we're first place in the Big South, right? And we got a bye week to rest up. We got a whole bunch of guys back last Saturday anyway. We saw Jermaine McDaniels, a.k.a. Mr. Need No Introduction, a.k.a. the Milkman, a.k.a.
number 6 out of retirement.
Sinister 6. Yeah,
right?
he came back. Then we saw Amir McNeil was out there at corner. And we also saw, somebody else. Who came out? We had one more guy who made a debut. So Salahuddin is out the doghouse,
yep.
And he got some backup reps. So 94, I think, everybody wants to be pessimistic still, and there's things you can nitpick about the some things that happen in that field, but I think everybody would say that we're kind of trending in the right direction.
And there are some things to nitpick. I mean, not to belabor the quarterback situation, but if you all indulge me, I got
Go
it
ahead.
there.
Go ahead. What's your theory?
I think we're seeing Yeager because honestly, I don't think, and I think this is more Barnett than Coach Washington. I don't think there's full amount of trust in Fowler.
I don't think there's a full amount of trust in him. And I'm going to break down some film a little bit later, but some of the play calls that we're doing, like you say, that everybody says, why don't we throw in the middle of the field? Why don't we throw to the tight end? Because that's where bodies are at, and they don't want to throw into a lot of traffic. They'll live with throwing that outside jump ball, that fade route, fly, whatever you want to call it. But they're not throwing a lot of posts. They're not throwing no lot of digs, crossing routes. All that stuff's really not in the playbook right now. And they just don't trust any other the 3 guys who've been taking snaps to make those throws consistently. So
we're going to have to get somebody to that point, though. I mean, if again, talking about realizing our full potential, and there's a way that you can do that and still, do things safely. But I think you guys know I'm not really a Jalen Fowler fan. I mean, I've been pro Yeager.
Okay.
That being said, though, I think Jalen has shown himself to be starting right now. And honestly, if we're really being honest, you would want your redshirt senior to be that, guy.
Right. And you saw in the fourth quarter, they leaned on him. And it was a real tenuous game. We were up 14-0. They scored 13 unanswered points. And it looks like the momentum is all on their sideline. And we get a couple of defensive stops, but to his credit, Fowler gets back in there, and we get on that one crucial game-winning drive we get that jump ball to was it Burkhalter?
It was Burkhalter, yeah.
Yeah, and then we with the final 8 minutes of the game, we commandeer a drive from I think our own where were you starting at? Like the 4-yard line or something?
It was definitely inside the 10, if I recall. I don't know exactly, but I mean we pushed it down their throats.
And we drive all the way down the field and kill the game off. I mean, that was a thing of beauty. And that was Fowler running offense. So,
but you know what though? What made him successful and what has made him successful, and it gets back to something that Craig said a couple of weeks ago. Our identity is running the ball. If we protect any of our quarterbacks, and when I mean protect them, I mean do what we do at our best. And let teams, decide that they're going to put, 7, 8 in the box, and then hit them there. I mean, let's
exactly.
As we always talk about, let's take what the defense gives us, but let's pound the ball. And I think I'm more upset now about that first game of the year. The more I think about it.
48 passes.
And I'm sorry to go back there, but I mean, you're
48
talking about
pass attempts, man.
We should be 3-2.
Oh yeah.
We didn't even try to run the ball against Central, and that's what I'm frustrated about.
Okay,
so 94. Don't listen. Don't get caught up in that. Go back and look at the first 12 to 15 plays of the ball game. We gave the ball to Tootin the first 8 plays of the game. People think we didn't try to run the ball. We came out with the same game plan we have now. You do me a favor, go back and look at the first couple plays. We gave it to them we literally gave them the ball the first 3 plays of the first drive. We came out the next drive and gave it to them the next 3 plays. Like one of them was short little screens out to the flat. We did try to run them. It seemed like we didn't give it to them in our first couple possessions. But if you go back and look at the first 20 plays, I guarantee you we were tooting heavy. But after that punt block, we were kind of,
we panicked. I think Barnett panicked, and he was like, I got to catch up right now. And instead of just staying the course, and I don't think he'll make that same mistake now. I think he knows.
I hope not. I hope not, because I think we have the formula.
All right, so you look at those first couple plays, because one of those first couple plays, we only threw the ball deep twice, and one of them was for a touchdown. So you look at the stats and the numbers in your first 12, 15 plays.
Against
Central,
I guarantee you,
against Central, you'll see, 1 for 3 or 2 for 3 passing wise, maybe 3 for 5 or so, because we did complete the pass to Tootin. But he touched the ball like the first 7 or 8 plays of the game. So we didn't just come out there gunning. We gunned on the back end, and things happen. But
and I think we didn't have to. So again, I apologize for going back, but I mean, Thriller brought me there talking about 2 and 3 when we certainly could be 3 and 2. The other thing is,
you're right.
Okay.
The other thing is, Jermaine McDaniel
is a difference maker. Hey, he's back. He's back with a new identity.
I mean, he's a difference maker.
Yeah.
It is amazing to me how our defense, went up 5-fold just with him, because you got to account for him and the pressure that was put there that made it possible for us to make some plays on the ball. I personally think that we could be doing more than what we're doing with our scheme, but our scheme is to keep the ball in between the 20s. I mean, and we just have to embrace that. Last thing I want to say, and I know we got to get some other folk on, but I'll be up here for tonight. It was refreshing to see that we have some discipline about ourselves.
Okay. That was an improvement, I thought.
I mean, we still have more penalties than them, but I mean, again, I think we're gonna do that. But it's the boneheaded stuff that we needed to do away with. So whoever the drunk uncle is that y'all are talking about at the press conference, I'm glad.
Hey, I call him at 94. I call him the notorious COM, crazy old man. Notorious COM.
We're supposed to get him on. Supposed to come on tonight. We're going to get him on tonight. Get him on
I
tonight.
hope so. I would love to hear, but I think we need to thank him because, and maybe it wasn't an appropriate form, but something needed to get through. And if it takes that, so be it. But I think, I think our trajectory is good. I think the sky's the limit. And again, we haven't reached our fullest potential yet. And we just got to keep grinding.
I hear you. All right, 94. So thanks for joining us again this week, man. And we got to buy. You got anything you're gonna do over the weekend since you're not any Aggie football to watch? What you got going on?
Well, not to brag, but tomorrow we're going to find out who the principal of the year is for Wake County Public Schools. I'm in the hunt, so I mean,
okay,
we'll see what's going to happen with that.
Is it too late for us to vote on a poll or something? Can I write my congressman?
No, it didn't work that way. I mean, if it did, I mean, it would be hands down. But no, they make you do some work. You got to do a portfolio and you got to do an interview and all that stuff. And I mean, I'm a minimalist at heart. I try to do enough to make sure I get the job done. I ain't trying to be in the spotlight, but it's an honor.
This is Wake County.
Yeah, it is.
Wake County Principal of the Year. Oh man! So when you find out the results?
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. Oh, we might have to do another episode of Blue Death After Dark. Just for that celebration, man.
Yeah, really.
Come on.
Oh man. But hey, man, best of luck to you, man. I know you deserve it, man. Best of luck, man.
Right.
You do a lot of work.
But guys, keep doing what you're doing and just thoroughly enjoying it. And we've got something good going on, and we just need to keep that momentum, and whatever we can do to help out, just let us know.
So 94. So
thank you.
So 94, you have been able to stand the rain. You're one of the fans who took that 0-3 start, and it didn't deter you, and you're still here. So all right, man, it's gonna be a fun ride.
I'm Aggie for life, so I mean that's what it's all about. Aggie pride, gentlemen.
Yes, sir. Good night. Aggie Pride.
Yes, sir. Aggie Pride.
I was Aggie 94. One of our favorites. Hey, so guys, let me jump into this quick video real quick. Let's talk about some of this. Let's look at some of the stuff we were talking about. The first drive of the game, the first scoring drive. Okay, I think I got it here. Here it is. So
it'll be second down for North Carolina A&T, and you have plan for the Aggies. They're going to want to run.
So I think we didn't go 3 and out on our first drive, but we didn't. I think we got close to midfield. We had to punt, but I think we're getting settled in here. And this is Fowler once again. He started the game, and let's just take a look at this drive and some of the thought process that Barnett had when he was calling plays.
On the football, that time another Tootin and Andreessen matchup for a short game for Tootin.
Fowler looking to the outside, floats it that way for Warren, completes the pass, and he's ahead.
Right.
So there you go. Quickly, Warren's guy who got kicked out of the last game, and you go to him early, show him that you're not giving up on him. He's part of the recipe for success. So we want to get the ball in his hands. He's a playmaker, man. He got some wiggle, he got some burst, so it's good to throw that little quick out. That was on second down. So now it's 3rd and 5, and this is a pivotal play right here because we're not quite at midfield, but we definitely want to move the chains. You see right now they got 7 guys in the box, so they're looking for run, right? They're probably got their eyes on 33 like everybody else is, and we're gonna see what we do here.
Both teams with big lines offensively and defensively. Fowler in motion. The direct snap to Tootin. Runs off tackle, and he is ahead for a first down.
Craig, let's talk about that. That's a luxury. Hey, listen, that is a luxury when you're able to do a direct snap to the running back on 3rd and 5 and get what you need.
Yeah. It's very reminiscent of what we did with Capo back in 2017, the undefeated year. We had a lot of success running that same basic formation and set or series of plays then, and we have it now. The thing is, when you have an offensive line that can block people off the ball 2-3 yards upfield, you create a lot of space, and that's what you're seeing here with this direct snap.
First time
a modified Wildcat.
1st and 10 for North Carolina A&T from the 48. The handoff goes to Graves. He's at midfield.
And so now we switch it up, and we have Doug. We have a legitimate 1-2 punch. Some people call it thunder and lightning. We might have to do a Blue Death Valley poll, figure out the new nickname for that tandem. But Graves has stepped up. He's given us something to complement Tootin, and that's really not that's not a major drop off. We take Tootin out, we get the ball to Graves, we still getting 4 or 5 yards a pop. So that's great to see.
Great.
Using that twins stacked formation for the second time this evening. Fowler pump fakes, heaves one down the sideline, and just a little too long.
Now you definitely want that back. But Doug, and like you said, we talked about it in Duke when we ran that fake punt. You want to put stuff out there for the defense to think about, right? So now this is the second drive of the game. Now they know that we'll take a shot deep, and we got behind. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're right. You know, we've done pretty much what we do every game. We throw the ball out wide and force you to play sideline to sideline like we do to Warren. You know, Warren got an early catch against South Carolina State, and we want to get out of the box. And then you take that shot down the field. That we had some success with that against South Carolina State with Jakari Caldwell going up. I think he caught 2 like that. You know, he also drew some pass interference penalties with Burkhalter. And then last week, Burkhalter should have had the PI call or at least the holding call when the corner was hanging on his back shoulder. Yeah. So this week we were able to convert that to a touchdown, to a game extending touchdown, game winning touchdown. So, you know, it's all a part of what we do in our scheme, and you know we're gonna continue to get better. You know, it's a little wet out there, and you know it's first deep ball of the game, so we were a little off. We got to continue to run through the football and try to come up with that catch. But you know, as you know, as the game goes on, we get in a rhythm and we'll make that play.
Yeah.
Fowler dropping back. The rush is on. Tucks it, runs it. He's got room for a first down and more. He'll fall forward.
So that's 3rd and 8, and that's the guy that most hated man in Aggie Nation. You know, what do you say? You can time his speed with a sundial, right? He's slow. He can't, you know, unathletic, and he just goes and gets you a major first down on 3rd and 8. So instead of having to punt, right, you can start over, move the chains, and that was really nifty on his part. You know, he saw opening, and he doesn't hesitate. You know, he still might not be as, huh?
Where'd they spot that ball?
The first down mark is at the 38. He's all the way over here, like the 36. Yeah. So the first down,
they can move a little bit. He gets down there.
Yeah. So that's a big play.
The 37-yard line. And this grass looking really green still.
Well, you know, we're in the South, baby, so we take care of our lawns down here.
Fowler again on the move. And
that's back-to-back, guys. That's 2 straight quarterback keepers, and, you know, he gets 8 yards on the second one. So whatever you are hoping for in Brick Handler and Yeager, right, you're getting some of that right now with Fowler. He's able to give you something with his feet, and that's better than nothing, right?
He speeded up. But he speeded up his processor.
He has.
He speeded up the processor over the last couple of weeks, and you could, especially on the first run, that was a recognition. He recognized there was a big open lane there. Let me go ahead and take off, and he did. So his processing has been pretty decent the last couple of weeks, and he's playing at a faster pace, and it's showing up.
Somebody said, why is he running so low to the ground? Stand up and get at it. So basically, one thing about Fowler, he doesn't want to turn the ball over. Okay,
exactly.
So his main thing is get as many yards as I can, right?
Right.
But my main deal is don't have a replay of North Dakota State or Duke or Hampton or Furman or Hampton last year, where I get a big game, but that ball comes out and it's a turnover and all for naught. So he wants to make sure that ball stays with him. So that's why he's kind of low. He's kind of avoiding any, by swiping at him from the side. And I love it. I don't need. We got Bashal Tootin and grades. I don't need my quarterback to be, take one to the house. Just get me whatever you can get me, move those chains, start over, hand the ball to those guys who specialize in that. So that's the reason.
Yeah, make the smart play, not the highlight play.
Yeah.
Moving quickly, tempo offense. Play action, sails this one. The catch is made over the middle.
So the quarterback coach in me hates his footwork on that. He stayed flat-footed, and that's why that ball sailed. If he has a little bit more energy in his feet and he transfers that back foot to the front foot, that ball comes down, he throws him on the rope. But it was a good ball. Was that Burkhalter? Burkhalter made a catch for him in traffic, and now we're definitely in that near the end zone.
Sterling Burkhalter. So 1st and goal from the 9. The handoff to Tootin, and he's across the 5, down to the 3.
So he started the 9. Craig, look at it. He started the 9-yard line. Got contact right at the line of scrimmage and still found a way to get to 3 yards. Those are those gritty, dirty yards that don't show up in the stat page, but makes the whole world difference. So now, instead of 2nd and from the 8, we're right there in the shadow of the end zone. That's and now you got anything, you can call anything you want.
Long. North Carolina A&T has converted 8 of its 10 red zone attempts this season. 6 of those have culminated in touchdowns. 2nd and goal. A handoff again to Tootin on the 2nd opportunity. He's in.
Tootin there met at the goal line by 2 Bulldog defenders, but he would not be denied. There's the strength.
So look, guys, Doug, like they say, that's why you don't skip leg day, right?
The bad man.
That's why you do those one-legged squats and the lunges, because, I mean, you got to be a grown man to do something like that. You got 2 defenders on you, pushing you back, and you're like, I don't care. The slots, you just dig deep, push through that, and get the ball over the goal line for the first score of the game, and you got that momentum. We're rolling now. And that's like I say, you don't understand how much of a luxury that is. But look back to last year, where we didn't have that running game to get those, positively, absolutely, we need 3 yards. We couldn't get those 3 yards. And so many times we got stopped on 3rd and 2 or 4th and 1. I don't have that fear this year. But let me bring in Billy J real quick. He's been waiting for a second. Billy J, what's going on, bro?
Oh, what's going on, fellas?
Billy J.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell y'all earlier. See, I'm still in the midst of going out of town right now.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm on my vacation, but I want at least to pop up for a quick second or two.
Yes, sir. So tell me, you are a band guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we had a no-show. Tell me what's the process when it comes to inclement weather? Because you marched before. How does that determination come about, and when do you guys find out if there's going to be any changes to the schedule?
Well, I think Doug pretty much hit the nail on the head earlier as I was listening to it on YouTube.
Yeah.
But coming from a band guy, the process is very similar to what Doug says. It all falls on Dr. Ruff, or the administration call is just going with the weather forecast and what direction the storm. We all know we were just dealing with the aftermath of the Hurricane Eli,
right,
and following the path of what the forecast might say. Oh, they're saying it might rain Saturday. There's a high chance of it. It's supposed to be 60% or more. And so I think that's what it boiled down to. It's boiled down to the kids being safe for the kids. I think it came down to the doctor made that call, and he probably talked it over with the administration and said, "Nah, we want to be safe. Safety first, right?"
So what about 2019 when we had that cold, wet game against Central, and I don't even think either of the bands performed on the field because the field was so wet. But
right.
Still, A&T and Central was still in the stands, and they were still playing music.
Yeah, and then another thing, I guess one thing you have to take into consideration that like you said, Doug himself was out of power. So maybe you probably had a lot of kids that
Okay. All right. There you go.
People in the area that were out of power that were probably stuck and couldn't even get to the band room or wherever. And so that was probably just added on to,
Okay.
Hey, maybe we need to be safe. We got folks out of power. Probably had staff or Dr. Ruff himself might have been out of power. So how to take that into consideration.
All right, okay. I can buy it.
It compared to that Central game where it was raining, that was just a simple rainstorm.
That was a rain event. Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, that was a rain event. But we were facing a tropical storm, aka hurricane. So that's totally different.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Not to mention, man, there were some families, there were some kids that that are from some of those parts that have been affected. We had they made the decision proactively. I'm sure they didn't make it on Saturday. They made it before Saturday. But by that time, we had already seen the devastation that the storm had caused up and down the eastern seaboard. Well, further south, down from Florida and on up. So, we have kids from South Carolina and the Myrtle Beach area that had already seen what the storm had done kind of in their hometown. So, who knows what their families were going through. So I think it was a decision that wasn't that was heavily weighed and a good decision, when you look back and see how
it was like say, safety first, right?
All right, so Billy J, you got a few minutes, or are you in a rush?
I got a few minutes for a little bit. Got some friends that's filling up here at the gas station. So yeah, I got a quick minute.
All right. So look, we're gonna do this real quick. So we're gonna start our mid-season report card, right? And I want you to give me your grade too. So Craig, you start off. Let's start at wide receivers, right? What grade? Because this is already game 5. We got 11 games on the schedule, and hopefully we'll earn some more if we get a playoff spot. So let's just start at the wide receiver position. Craig, you start. What grade would you give
right now?
Yeah.
And I'll give him a C+.
C+. So there was a lot of drops in that Duke game. There's been some inconsistency all over. Some penalties.
Been better. It's been better the last 2 games, but the first 3 games it was horrific.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay. Doug, he said, you say C+. What do you say, Doug?
I'm gonna give us a B. You definitely got to wait in on the game.
Doug, I've been trying to defend you, Doug. Everybody says that you are the captain of the Sunshine Gang. You can go for B.
So have we been? C is average. I think we've been better than average.
Okay.
I think we've been better than average, right? I'm not just going based. We can't throw the ball to ourselves for one. We played with 4 different quarterbacks. Give us that credit.
Okay.
Drops.
The central game.
Drops.
Drops. Craig,
Drops.
I'll give you that. I'll give you Duke.
Drops.
Craig.
Duke, man, come on, Duke. Hey, Duke, you starting off at a D- just from
Guys,
Duke.
I'm averaging all the games together. So
Okay,
Central game, what do you give us Central game? I mean, we had the most exciting game in the Central game. All right.
Okay.
So give us a Central game.
So you got C in Central. You got C in Central.
North Dakota State. Yeah, you're gonna put that on the receivers. Were there a ton of drops by the receivers? No. And we do more than just catch balls. We block pretty well. Some of the running success is due to the guys on the outside. They had to make some blocks on Tootin's long runs, or those wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Duke game definitely in the D range, right? Because of the drops.
Drop.
And then you look at the last 2 games, guys. Yeah,
Pretty
we
good.
ran the ball how we wanted to.
Yeah.
But we had to make some big plays and some big spots, some big
the game winning touchdown.
Not just the touchdown, those drive extending play, that 8-play drive you talk about.
Yeah.
We didn't run the ball, turn around and hand the ball off every play, right? We had to make some throws, and I think you'll see down the road we've gotten better every game, and we're gonna have to make some catches. So I'm giving them the B, not a B minus, not a B plus. I give a B plus. It's a B. It's a solid B.
All right, Billy J, weigh in before you got to go. So, because I know your people.
I'm gonna be with Craig on this one. I give him. I'm not gonna give him a C plus. I'm gonna give him a C.
A C. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a C. Like I said, there's room for improvement. Like you said, what Doug said, we did have him drop balls in the last 2 games in the Duke. I remember clearly in the Duke game, we had a guy wide open and he just dropped the ball. But like I said, we have improved. Yeah. That was a touchdown he dropped. Yeah. But the game against Bryant, we didn't hardly have any drop balls. all across the board from, receivers is catching the ball when they need to. Defense stepped up when they needed to, which is, our defense is like pretty much non-existent as far as forcing turnovers. Jermaine McDaniel, I got some, big shout out to him. He made some big plays with that jump ball interception, and then Cron Prunty finally coming up for that DB from Kansas.
And it comes in bunches. It comes in bunches too. So he got one and he got another.
Yeah, he got one or two. Yeah. So I think him and a few other guys that stepped up in the DB position. Yeah. So just room for I think I said it early in the season. There's always room for improvement, right? So you kind of slowly seeing us improve and get better. We're not where we want to be, but we're trying to get there. Like the guys, you said it earlier. We haven't reached our full potential yet, but we're definitely trying to get there.
Gotcha. All right, Billy Joe. I know you got to go, so be safe wherever you're traveling to, man.
Oh yeah. I'm headed down to Miami for the weekend.
That's my spot. We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that on the next show.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, recap. We have an analysis of your trip to Miami. That'd be a segment. All right, man. Will you be safe out there? I appreciate you guys.
All right, I appreciate you guys.
Take care.
Man.
All right, Billy J, big time fan of the show.
Man, guys, we've had eight different receivers catch a ball this year, man. We're gonna be all right, man. We can't throw it to ourselves, man. When we go back in the show, we hadn't, other than one game, we haven't gone into detail or had to rag on the receivers about the job they did during the game. So that's why I was like, that's above average, man. It's more to our job than just catching passes. I mean, I got to give a special shout out to my man Taymon Cook. I mean, Taymon right now might be my special teams player of the year right now, and I know I'm not, and that's excluding Money Brown, but Taymon has been unselfishly hustling on kickoff team. I can't tell you how many times he's made that touchdown saving tackle or pushing the guy out of bounds. Right. He's right there. I mean, and guys take that for granted, but when you're pretty much a starter, it's not easy to run out there and have to be on kickoff team and kickoff return team. Every time there's a change of possession, you're out there. It's taxing, and he's out there because he's that talented. He's not just out there because he's a body. No, he's a guy that could be doing that on Sundays, right? He reminds me of Matthew Slater's son. They're just a receiver that is giving it his all. And then Amante at punt returner, he's a young receiver that's putting in work on special teams too. Back there returning. So we're jack of all trades. The receiver room, right?
That's a scary sight to have Amante and a Cook back there on either side of the field for those kickoffs. Yeah, you got to pick your poison, and both of them guys can take to the house. So I think if we can just get our blocking scheme, use this bye week, work on special team on that wedge, and the guys got to understand there's a new rule in football where if you turn and if you're blocking towards the opposite goal line, I mean, you could just touch them ever so slightly, they're gonna throw a flag. So a lot of these blocks in the backs are just because the guys are not understanding that new rule, and they're trying to make that illegal block by just facing the wrong way. But so look, my grade for the receivers would be a C2. I'll go with C. But let's take a look also. One of the things we talked about was over last week was the penalties and discipline. And like all three of us will say, there was a major improvement in penalties. We're not all the way there yet. There's still some work to be done. Let me show you the second scoring drive of the game. And
a guy like Tootin, because he's that talented. Here he is again. Tootin reaches.
So this is our second touchdown. We go 14-0. And I'm on the sideline, and I'm like, I'm looking. I'm saying, please don't do nothing crazy. Please don't do nothing crazy. We talked about this, guys. And so Tootin, he scores his touchdown. And at first, I was like, man, are the refs just picking on him? What is happening? I didn't see anything.
They were watching. They definitely were watching. The verdict is out on us.
Yeah, the guy right on the corner, that black hat, he had an eagle eye on him. See what we do it,
and he's in.
And right there, oh my gosh, he couldn't hold his water, so he rolls out here with the finger to the mouth, that hush sign.
Give him 6. Touchdown.
And that ref is reaching for it right now.
He's reaching for it. He was in the back of the end zone waiting on it, man. Waiting to see, waiting to make that call. Now the play before, Tootin actually, they made a good stop on us, and Tootin actually turned to their sideline and gave them the soft golf clap and applauded them on their defensive effort, which wasn't a taunting gesture, but in my mind, I'm telling you, Tootin, in this play, you too good for that. You act like you've been there before. Hand the ball to the ref and celebrate with your teammates who were coming over to celebrate with you, right?
And Doug, that resonated with me what you said last week. And I told my son, I said, when you get into the game, you be okay if you celebrate with your teammates. If you start doing something with the other team, that's when you're gonna get a penalty. As long as you just focus on your own guys.
That's it, man. That's it. And so he was kind of building off of that, where he, they stopped him in that one play and he came back to the next play and kind of silenced them and did the Steph Curry soon thereafter. But again, you too good for that, man. You expect to get in the end zone every time you touch the football. So when you get there, act like you've been there before. But that's that. I said last week, we were gonna stay away from the bonehead penalties. The effort penalties don't bother me, but that's one of the bonehead, selfish penalties. That was a selfish move, but that's generally not in Mr. Tootin's character. So, I like to think that he's gonna make up for that down the road with his playmaking ability. And I know Coach didn't take that one lightly. You saw Coach talking to him, and the other thing that I love, and you'll see it when you run the video, is you'll see his teammates come and get him and tell him.
North Carolina A&T, and a flag on the play for taunting.
Yeah, you see Kimbrough coming in, and Kimbrough's a grad transfer, and he's coming in, hey, man, we're working on that. Don't do that, man. You can see him talking to him, and I love that. I knew right then. I was like, we'll be fine. We'll be fine on the penalty ranks. And, guys, we had 7 penalties. And while we're talking about penalties, I'm going to go ahead and throw a few more out there for you, Thriller. We had 7, which we can go ahead and chalk it up. We're going to be a 4 to 5 penalty a game team for the foreseeable future. So we can ice that down. We had 4 last week, other week, and we were okay with that. So 4 is kind of our mark, where our watermark. We get 4, and then we kind of talk about what they look like. But we had 7. Tootin's was a bonehead one.
Yeah.
Go the rest of them, right? Lee had 2. We had some false start penalties.
Right, that's okay.
How much of those false start penalties can we attribute to different cadences from the quarterbacks? The change in quarterbacks. Does that affect our rhythm?
Definitely,
up front with those guys.
Definitely.
So if we had 2 of them, back and look and see if it was the same quarterback, different quarterback. But at some point, it's tough for that guy. They get out of there early. The left tackles do sometimes. We had Jermaine McDaniel, who we know was his first game, and he's kind of like Harold was in Harold's first game. We saw Harold jump off and come off fast and get that penalty. And those are our 2 speed guys, and they come.
I'll take that though. I'll take effort. I'll take effort.
I'll take
effort penalties.
Jermaine, we're gonna throw that one out, but
I'll take effort.
Hopefully, we don't have this game. Now we did have the one that could have cost us on the field goal attempt, and what I love about that one, a Harold jump right, and he yelled to the sideline, "Hey, they flinching or they barking." And I heard the team, because there wasn't many fans in the stands. You could hear the guys from the sideline yelling back in. So what? It don't matter. They were telling them, it don't matter if they flinch, if they bark. It don't matter what they do. Do your job. Your job is not to jump. I don't care what they do. We're counting on you not to jump. So it was good to see the team holding them accountable, right? It wasn't the coaches that had to get on them. Everybody knew what they were supposed to do. The guy made a mistake, and his teammates checked him. So I like that.
Well, check this out, Craig. I want to show you something. And this is a guy we picked on last week.
Heck out.
So this is a big play right here. Let me go back because I want to show you how it starts. So this is all about this pass rush. Coach Washington always says the thing that's going to help my pass defense is getting a better pass rush. And I don't know how I feel about that, but I'll take him at his word. So here he got one of his guys back. He got the center 6, Jermaine McDaniel. He's on the edge, and watch how he just gets low in his bend and he gets some pressure on his quarterback. Forces this guy, and the thing about the Bryant quarterback, he's not a great passer. He doesn't have like that fastball like the dude for South Carolina State has. He's more of a timing, 1, 2, 3 step drop, let the thing go to a spot. So when you get him off time, that's when he starts throwing bad balls. So watch this, Doug.
Eckhouse steps up, throws, and that one is intercepted by Prunty.
Now here's the deal. Great play by Prunty, right? Wonderful play by Prunty. You see Harold's coming in there. You see Stuckey. All the guys they're doing the right thing. They're celebrating with themselves.
His second pick of the game. Prunty. Eckhouse look left.
Still okay.
Now look at McDaniels. Look at McDaniels. He's like, I want you to know that you wouldn't have got this interception if it wasn't for me. And I need you to see how I look. Let me take my helmet off.
Now, Doug,
who do we pick on last week? Who got a lot of our criticism? It was two guys, Warren and Roberts.
Yep.
Two of our best guys. So look at number 13. Look at 13.
Came back right, tried to look off.
Hey, look what I just did. I was helped us get an interception. And right now, luckily there's not any officials around. So watch 13.
Prunty.
Hey man, we can't do that.
Prunty just steps in.
Get your helmet on, bro. Get off the sideline. You're gonna give us a penalty. That's leadership. In 1 week, Craig, that's a 180. In 1 week, from being the guy who causes gets in somebody's face and do the taunting, now he's back on his square. He's policing his teammates. He's letting the guys know, hey, let's learn from this. Let's take this. So that means it was not only an internal meeting with the coaches, the players. So the notorious COM, crazy old man, his message must have also reached some of the players because they start talking and say, look, we can't do this. We can't have all these penalties self-destructing.
Front of that one.
Okay. That one back from the top, man.
You want to from the get-go?
Run the top. Run that from the top. Because one thing we can say, hey, we're definitely still back there deep on that hash, and 10 yards off on the numbers.
I hate that.
But I'll tell you this.
I hate that.
I'll tell you this. You know what?
3rd and 10.
I said it all the time. And sometimes it's not the scheme. Sometimes it's the Joes. That kid is falling into it. That looks a lot like a Mac McCain pick, right? We're not doing anything different, guys. It's about getting the timing down, studying your opponent, knowing where the ball is going, right? That's one thing. All our DBs that had success in Coach Washington's scheme said, hey, we studied. We knew what was going to happen. We knew what the other team's tendencies are. And I think we're starting to see, even not just with Prunty's pick, with the other guys that got in the mix, we'll give up some stuff throughout the game. Are you going to be able to?
Why do we have to play at the sticks, though? Why do we have to line up at the sticks?
You got to give up something. And I think our guys are getting more confidence in not getting beat deep, right? I think we play a little hesitant, like I don't want to get beat deep. And the more comfortable you get, I know where the sticks are. I know where they're headed. Because Prunty makes it when he takes his back pedal, but when he plants that back foot and drives on the football, it's a beautiful play. And that's how our scheme is designed. Eventually, we're gonna get you right. All late in the fourth quarter, you might not be able to fit in some of them tight windows as we get in our rhythm and start to understand our scheme. And so we're starting to get those reps. Last week, not just this week, South Carolina State game. We saw in the second half we tightened some of those windows, and Roberts and them boys out there diving around that ball. Was flying around. And Bryant Cole and Williams kind of had that collision where they were getting after the ball. So I think it's built into our scheme. We got to play a little bit faster, and you play faster when you're a little more comfortable with what's going on and what's going on out there.
Let me run.
Watch that boy break on that.
Eckhouse steps up, throws, and that one.
Okay, so if, like you say, Doug, if the light's coming on and he's understanding that he needs to when to be aggressive and when to fall back, if there's something that Coach Washington is teaching these guys and they're finally understanding, I'm all for it.
Listen, on the David Laney, Prunty was behind Laney, and he'd have had a third pick. He might have had 3 that day. He was right in line to make that play. And so they're starting to break on those routes. And again, guys, we're not in the meeting room. We don't know exactly, what the plan is for that week. But I think we're building towards something, right? We're building towards how we want this defense to look. And it takes some reps. It doesn't just because you draw it up and you say go out there and play and the guys are talented. It's just like the offensive line. It takes some time to gel. But we didn't get a penalty there, and that was great. So, but I got to go back to, again, highlight one guy, right? You look at special teams. We had the field goal block, right? We had the field goal block.
Yeah.
We got a penalty on the play because Damian Jackson Jr.,
yes,
who
sir.
I know his father is got to be proud. actually made the hell of a play and probably the special teams play of the game when he tracked the guy down and was able to tackle him without a helmet, which we know, you can't tackle a guy in the field of play without a helmet.
Tootin because he's that talented.
Oh, I didn't cut you off, but let's. I think this is it. No, this is not it. Hold on.
What you got?
Nah, I thought I had. Hold on a second. That's not the one. But go ahead. You
got to cue it up. No, just want to say highlight Damien for that penalty, and that's another penalty that we'll wipe. That's one that we applaud in the film room on his effort. I mean, the guy didn't have his helmet on. He's still pursuing the play. He was smart enough and savvy enough to not dive and try to tackle him first off, but when he realized his teammates could make the play, man, he dove in there and made a heck of a tackle.
Here it is.
Andrew Brown, his long.
Here it is. So this is the play you're talking about. So basically,
the game was not out of hand yet. I mean, it's 9 minutes left, and we're trying to put it away.
Right, and this
47-yarder.
This is a crucial play because if we can go up 14 points, you feel really good. But what they're trying to obviously stop us by any means necessary, and I'm not sure what the breakdown was, but they get a block. Craig, do you want to go for it on 4th and 6, or you trust Money Brown from this distance? You think it's a good decision to kick this right now?
Personally, I would have gone for it, but
yeah, me too.
I would have gone for it.
Me too. Yeah,
we had success. We had been having success on 3rd down against them. I would have gone for it.
And also, yeah, I understand. You trust Money Brown. He's been money for you, but those long kicks had that short trajectory that it's hard to.
Money gets it up. That's one thing Money is good at. He gets it up early. He's nailed one from here the last game, and the only other one he missed from deep was 50 plus, and he pushed it. He pushed it a little bit right, but it had plenty of distance. So distance isn't the issue for him. We got to protect it better. It had nothing to do with the snap, the hold, or the kick.
Right.
We had a leakage on. Yeah, we had a leakage on there and some seepage, and they got through, and guy got his hand up and made the play, but. We call him Money Brown for a reason because he can make that kick. And anytime you get a chance to put points on the board in one play, and the odds and percentages say he can make it, you take the points. Your defense hadn't given up but 13 points. So I take my chances with Money.
Right. On the season is 49. Hold is down. The kick is blocked.
It's blocked.
So our long snapper is number 54. Right,
long white socks, long white sleeves.
He's on the hash mark on the 38-yard line right now. He's like I'm a football player. I'm about to make a play. I know his dad is super proud. So it's somehow I don't know if he had a chin strap that came loose, but somehow he loses his lid. He's trying to be like the other Antoine Wilder, the Headless Horseman. So we'll see.
Still loose and now picked up by the Bulldogs. This is going to be interesting. And the Bulldogs have some room to run.
Yo, man, the Headless Horseman for real.
The new Headless Horseman.
It's Wanwood. And he's into Aggie territory.
Go gets his helmet and hustles off the field, right? That's my job. I did my job.
Right.
He's not turning and looking at the other sideline and giving him the DX, telling him what to do with it. He is getting his helmet and happy to make a special teams play, and that's the same thing we saw out of Rudy the other week when Rudy made the tackle on special teams.
Yeah. So
that's what it's about, man. Those guys, we like to see guys doing the right thing. Good stuff.
So he got a penalty because you can't be participating without a helmet. So
that's a big play, and a flag comes flying in. 2nd and 7.
So later on. Guys, but you should have saw the reception he got on the sideline. People understood, like, dude, you out there sticking your head out literally without protection just to make a football play. You get utmost respect from me. So
from the 26.
And once again, I think that's Sinister 6 making some
Heckhouse.
Look at that pass rush spot, and like he only had I think one. I don't think he had any sacks, but I know he had the
tackle for loss.
Tackle for loss
back there as soon as the running back got the football.
But he was so disruptive back there, man. Like almost every snap.
And he forced the interception with Janoris.
Look at this.
Looking.
So he got all that traffic on him. And that pocket collapses.
Looking, throws, and it's intercepted.
So You see the backer there. You see Taquan right in place. You see Laney, the safety, and then you see Prunty, who was actually guarding the guy that he was throwing the ball to. So I and another Aggie coming in the mix. So guys, those windows are tightening down. Keep an eye on our pass D.
All right, so let's go
Don't
with
sleep on Metcalf. Don't sleep on Metcalf and his ability to pass the football. He makes some good throws, and sometimes the timing system is hard to stop.
So so let's go back. Let's go get a grade on the defensive back, the secondary this year. What's your midseason grade, Craig, on the secondary? What giving those guys?
Well, they started out a little bit. They started out shaky, but again, the last 2 weeks they seem to be coming of age. Kind of like our receivers. I give them the same thing, a C+.
Give them a C. All right, Doug. So you played DB in high school. Are you gonna grade on the curve again, or are you gonna what's your grade for the secondary?
I mean, as Craig said, we're gonna be fair. They have been much improved since last year, right? And the numbers say, the stats say they're an improved group, right?
Hold on a second, but we still got to talk about they gave up the first play of the game against North Dakota State.
I'm gonna get there. Now,
okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You're gonna do my receivers like that. I got to talk about the other side of the football.
Okay.
No, they gave up. Some plays in Central, that kind of hurt us. Not necessarily because we just got whooped, but some plays that we want to make in some big moments. Because for me, it's about making plays in big moments and being a player, and that's out of our guys on the back end. We've been spoiled by the guys in the secondary. So, of course, the first play off the rip with the Duke game, but I'm gonna take into account that was a freshman kind of getting his early start. Duke kind of threw it around on us. North Dakota State, we didn't make a lot of plays, on the football, but we weren't too bad. But yeah, I give us above average because the improvement over last year. So I'm gonna put us right there at the B.
B, you going? All right,
and you got. I might be a prisoner of the moment in the last 2 weeks, right? I'm definitely grading. This is the interim report. This is the interim report. So I'm giving them, based off the work we've done at the latter part of the semester.
Right. So they had they gave up 316
We had
passing yards.
3 picks the last game. But 3 picks the last game.
But they also gave up 316 passing yards.
No, we can't do that. You just sat up here 5 minutes ago and talked about the impact that Jermaine McDaniel had on the game. And so now they're just giving up 300 yards, just the secondary by themselves, right? It had nothing to do with the pass rush. When every other week up here, I've heard guys beat the table and say, we got to get some pass rush. We got to get some pressure on the quarterback. It's a team effort. It's 11 guys out there playing defense. And there's times when we don't make plays. Sometimes the linebackers are part of the pass defense. So that's not fair to say that the guys on the back end who have played better and played well this year, it's not fair just to throw them under the bus like that and throw out their 300 number like it's all on them.
All right, so you give them a B. I'm gonna give them a C. I'm gonna give them a C because I can't get the visions of North Dakota State and Duke out of my head. That was just terrible. That's bad football. And to their defense, I don't know how much of that is by feelings on the overall scheme that they're asked to play. I'm still doing my due diligence on that before I formulate an overall opinion. I'm leaning towards Coach Washington needs to change that scheme in all season, but we're gonna see what happens. You're
basing that off of 2 plays. The first play in North Dakota State game.
Body of work. I'm talking about 2011.
You said those two games you talked about. You said North Dakota State and Duke. You basing it off of those 2 plays
and Central.
In the game.
And Central. They made the guy from Central look like he was a Hall of Famer. He ain't that good.
You just named the first those 2 games and those 2 plays, which was the big plays up top, and that was over Ty Williams and over Bryant, who were 2 young safeties. Now, now Ty Williams got beat by number 5 over top in his last game, right? And they got the ball down inside the goal line. That was right before the goal line stand. Yeah. He's also the guy that made that tackle on Eckhouse when he tried to jump up in the air, on 3rd down.
Actually,
right at the goal line.
Let's bring that
plays,
up.
Right? Those boys are making their plays. They're making up for those mistakes they made early in the season.
I
said, Cole got 2 interceptions since he gave up that play at Duke.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Play action. Lofts this one down the seam, and it's complete to Ruggieri. He's to the 3 and dragged down.
Tackle, right?
So that's a B, Doug.
Hey, listen, the guy that's a B. That's their best receiver. That's their best receiver on the safety. I'd like to think a receiver can make that play. It took a great throw over top, right? And the guy made a good catch on the outside shoulder. Like, that's how you draw it up, right? You tell the quarterback, throw it down the outside rail, receiver catch it over the outside shoulder where the safety can't get to it. I mean, he wasn't in his hip pocket, but he was trailing, but he made the touchdown saving tackle, right? It's 14-10, and they got all the momentum right now. Yeah. Right. He goes in the end zone to score, and we go behind.
It's 17-14. If he doesn't make that tackle, it's 17-14.
It's 17-14. And after we make that tackle, he goes on to make 2 solid plays
right here
in his goal line system, right?
That was a heck of a play call there.
Now, look, this is when you see the difference between having a Bashal Tutin and a Graves in your backfield and not having that. Because right now, the best running back for Bryant was a 5'4" guy, little Smurf guy from Charlotte, and he's not really.
Y'all better stop sleeping on my man. My man is built. He's thick. He's small in stature. He's not Tariq Cohen, but
he ain't no Graves. He ain't no Tootin.
No. You go back. You go back. Hey, well, we didn't get a hand on him when he ran around the outside on us.
On the outside, he went off tackle, and All right, so watch the
by the Bulldogs and cows from the goal.
So you see when you see that front 7 collapse, they knew they weren't going to run the ball 3 times in between that. So they kept this quarterback keeper craziness. And they ain't going nowhere.
Quarterback keeper still fighting, and he'll reach and is.
That kid out of Charlotte, he did work on FIU. Y'all better stop sleeping on that kid.
All right, well, so that's 2nd down, and a great stop by Cole. Come out to safety position. That rover position.
Ryan Clark in as the running back now. He is the red zone package back. Shovel pass.
They ain't working. And this is Prunty coming in from his corner.
Yes, sir.
And that one falls short.
So now it's 3rd and 3. And like I say, a touchdown here changes the whole tone of the game. Now we're trailing for the first time. We're trying to catch up, and then they can put some pressure on Fowler, whoever's back there, and I'm not feeling good. It's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of time left. 7 minutes in the 3rd quarter. We got to get these guys off the field here.
If you don't score here, you look for Bryant and probably go for it on 4th.
Quarterback keeper.
And they would have gone for it on 4th. They would probably got 2 yards or something a little closer, but they didn't get anything, and that dude got lit up. That was a great effort by these guys. Kudos.
My guy Ty. That's 2-6 right there. My guy Ty.
Eckhouse is taken down.
Kudos to those guys for standing up, and now they held them to a field goal. All right, so look. So I'm gonna say a C for the defensive backs. What about the linebackers? What's the consensus on the linebackers? Because I think those guys have been as good as advertised. I go ahead and give those gentlemen a A. Can we give them an A? Craig, A&T linebackers.
Yeah. I can see them as an A-, B+, somewhere in there.
Okay, Craig, Doug.
I'm going A, man. They've had some tough assignments out the gate. And Central blind, walking in that game, not really knowing what they do. 2 physical matchups against North Dakota State and Duke. There's really nowhere to run or hide. You got to take it on the nose, and those guys were up for the challenge. And then to do what they did against South Carolina State and Bryant, got to give them the A.
Last 2 games, they gave up 38 yards and 12 yards. That's
right.
And each of those guys have an interception, I believe, or have impact plays, and of course they do it on special teams too. So.
And you're talking about somebody that does it all. Roberts doesn't really come off the field. He's on the punt blocks. He's on punt returns. He has this ridiculous motor, and now he's got that discipline and the penalties. Seems like he figured that out. He's now an advocate for control instead of being a poster child for bad penalties. So I think the sky's the limit with those guys too. Can't wait to see what they do in the second half of the year. So the linebackers, we're gonna give them an A. And lastly, for the defense, that defensive line. Craig, what's your mid-season grade for the defensive line?
I'll give them an A, and I'll tell you the reason why. They were not expected to be that good, and those guys have stepped up. The young guys have really stepped up along that defensive line. They're playing lights out football. Nobody can run up in the middle of that defensive set And if you had told me, I knew that we were going to be good at the starters. But if you had told me that, I had faith in the freshmen of the kids that we brought in and recruited, that they were top-notch ball players and they're proving out to be that. They're just doing a tremendous job. And now that Jermaine is back, they're gonna get ugly. They're gonna get real ugly in the second half of the season.
Doug, you know who's probably the most happy to see the Sinister Six back is Harold.
Other side. They can't. Yeah. They're gonna have a hard time. They can chip him and double him a little bit. It'll open it up for him and those guys on the inside too. I mean, the more you get pressure, you get up front with those guys. Hey, the more it makes it easy, make their job easier and help the guys on the back end.
Yeah, right. Cabo and Wallace have been playing really good ball. And
I remember when some folks had some questions about him, Craig. You know, they were questioning. You know, somebody, I ain't gonna say who. They just wear one hat. You know,
I don't know what you're talking about, but
and Caleb Jones and Pittman, the two freshmen have just been tremendous in relief of those two guys. So yeah, they're getting the job done up front.
Oh yeah, so I didn't show this. This is we talked about the linebackers. We gave them an A. So we give them the deep. So what are you giving the defensive line, Doug? You give them an A, B? What are you giving them?
I'm giving them the A.
I'll give them an A too. But so here's back. Let's go back to the linebackers. Here's
3rd and long. Eckhouse.
This is Ty King. Now this shows you just how talented we are at the linebacker spot. There's not a lot of guys who are going to be able to make this play. Look where Ty King starts at and where he finishes.
Deep drop, screen. He's got Byram.
Let me go back. So basically, he has the 3, right? So that's the running back. So his responsibility is that wherever that running back goes, if that running back goes on a screen or on a wheel route, then King has to stay with him.
3rd and long. Eckhouse.
And they do a nice little slip play to get the running back to go inside instead of outside to go through all that traffic. And they do a screen over the top, and if you're not paying attention, that could be they got 2 blockers up top and they got a whole bunch of sideline. That could be a first down. And look at King.
Deep drop, screen. He's got
right there. Once he makes contact, that's it. There ain't no breaking no tackles. They ain't leaning forward. Everything stops right then and there. That's what you love from a linebacker.
And he's taken down shy of the first down marker.
And that's the kid from Charlotte, the 5'4" guy who Doug thinks is like, Walter Payton Award recipient. And somehow, miraculously, we were able to stop him short of the chain. So
he did score the only touchdown.
All right, so
oh god.
So we're about to get out of here pretty guys. So let's go through this. So one more video before the night's over, and we're going to show that final game clinching drive. Let's just go step by step. Let's just watch this in all its beauty of how we sealed this game. We get the ball back with 8 minutes left. We're up, still 24-13, and we're trying to see this away.
Lead it 24-13 with 8:13 to play.
Now we're on the 8-yard line, and if we get we throw the ball as an incomplete pass and we have to punt, they have a lot of time left. 8 minutes is a lot of time in college football, and they're going to get good field position if we have to punt from our own end zone. So this is super important that we at least need to eat some clock and get to midfield so we can turn, to flip the field at least. But we're going to do a little bit more than that.
And the offense is back out on the field for the blue and gold.
First drive, we get some dirty yards. Probably 2-3 more than we're supposed to get on that. Now it's second. We got 4 yards, and that's still pretty good. So now 2nd and 6.
The handoff again. And
now it's 3rd and 4. This is the big drive right here, right? 3rd and 4. Let's see what our senior quarterback's going to do.
The Aggies keep it on the ground, tooting ahead for the first down.
He ain't got to do nothing. He's hand off to the man. That's what you talk about, putting the team on your back. we can't use that word Tariq-esque yet, but I'm telling you, I'm not trying to compare talent. I'm just saying the leadership and that want to be the guy. He has a little bit of that Tariq-ness in him where he says, I'm the best guy in the stadium, give me the ball. And that's, oh man, you love seeing that.
And more, he's up to the 25, and that'll earn a new set of downs. So Fowler will now work from the shotgun.
Now we're on the 25. So we out of that end zone, got a new set of downs. Let's roll.
Another handoff.
Oh, they're really behind it here as we wind down the fourth quarter.
That's a hard pass. If he throws that thing behind him, if he doesn't throw that perfectly in stride, and he's not going to get any positive yards, and it's going to be 3rd and 8, or he might even lose a yard. So that's important that he threw that ball the right place at the right time.
The swing pass, Tootin.
Make that guy.
We ran that play the second play of the Central game. That's what we ran. Aggie 94 monster, my guy.
Plows ahead, and he's able to gain a few more. But looms large right now. The mist starting to move back.
3rd and 5. You don't want to punt here. You still got 4 minutes. 4 minutes is good. You kill some time, but you still don't want to risk it. Let's go ahead and just get one more first down, put this game away.
Back into the region. Fowler, 2-step drop towards the
5th-year senior. 5th-year senior. The guy y'all hate. Y'all want to take a scholarship. Y'all want to take a scholarship. That's what y'all advocating for. 3rd and 5. He throws a dot. Perfect position. Throws that thing high. It's incomplete. Throws that thing in front. It's intercepted. A lot of things go wrong. They trust him to make that play. He made it. That's a super important play. Now we got first down again.
Sideline, and that one is
who's that?
Good call by the offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
taking what the defensive was. Even though they were kind of squatting on it, but you shorten the throw by running that play from the far, from the near hash.
And that's Caldwell too. That's the guy who was dropping everything in Durham, and he comes back and makes the important play on 3rd and 5. So we trust in our guys, and they're showing that they are worthy of being trusted.
Is hauled in. It'll be good for a first down.
I'm with you, and I don't think that Coach Merritt will do that for Bryant.
The handoff as the ground.
You see, you take Tootin out, and Graves does not miss a beat, Craig. You don't lose anything with Graves on this drive. He's adding.
No, you don't miss anything when you substitute them in and out in a situation like that. But the thing is, I'm looking at that offensive line.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm looking at. They are moving people out. The switch that they made by moving Dak Wilson to guard, Marino to center, and Sharp on the other side. We're running in the middle of that defense, and you can't do that unless you got some horses up front to do that with.
So that was a backbreaker right there on first down, because that makes it 2nd and short or whatever.
Right.
And then now they got to sell out. They got to load the box and just sell out.
Down the tack continue.
Really hard to bring down, much like Tootin.
2nd and 4.
And they sold out. They blitzed the linebacker, and he still falls forward.
Yeah, running right behind Wilson and Lee on that side.
Now look at your man up top. He's still trying to finish up play. This line, is that 59? He's still
Corian Sharp, and then Caesar's a technician. They after those guys through the whistle.
They still finishing plays.
And another.
Look at 69 pushing those guys back. So that's awesome. This is that role grade offensive line you love. And I know Coach Washington was just smiling like the Kool-Aid guy.
Draw. Huge. That is a
3rd and 1. What we gonna do here? 3rd and 1. They still got a prayer if they can stop us here.
huge break for the Bulldogs.
Look at that, man. How many guys you got? 1, 2, 3, 4 on the line. You got 2 guys in the middle. You got another guy up top cheating in. You got a guy in the slot about to cheat in. They're about to send the house.
Yeah, I think play action.
Look at that. They know where we're going. They know where we're going.
Yep.
What can they do about it, Craig?
Get out the way.
And here will completely fool Bryant here.
The handoff, and he's off.
One man to beat.
But Doug, you got to watch what happened here. So the blocking was awesome. We blew guys off the ball. But look at your man 35. He's not just a bull in a china shop. He got some he got some Flintstone twinkle toe feet.
Graves.
So it does pick up the first down.
Did you see how quickly he was able to get to the next gear?
Well, he sides.
That's pretty. Trap and seal.
A man that big. He said he's from Danville?
Danville, Virginia. George Washington High School.
What's in the water in that damn river? Because something's going on up there, man. That's not natural, man. For a big man to move that gracefully in the hole on a 3rd and 1 with the whole Bryant defense is keying on you, and you still bust one long.
Stepped a few defenders.
And we go back to it. It's 147, so we're looking good. But let's go ahead and just put a bow on this thing.
Able to get to the secondary.
So they over pursue and Tootin now. So Tootin's rested. Tootin had a chance to catch his breath for 2 plays. We bring in the best back in FCS football, and he's fresh, so he's gonna make some magic happen.
Tootin now changing field. Works towards the 30 and is able to somehow get back
So instead of a loss, he probably picked up a yard.
to the line of scrimmage.
Teacher?
No, I'm good.
I mean, scared money don't make money. You heard?
Here's Tootin. Throws.
See that forearm dub? You see that stiff arm dub?
Yep, and the ability to stay in bounds.
Stay in bounds. So savvy.
A stiff arm and rolls ahead past the 25.
Hurricane Ian.
3rd and 10. That can't be right. So 3rd and 10. That's probably about 3rd. That's scoreboard that right. It's 3rd and 5, maybe 3rd and 4.
But valiant effort by Bryant. Looks like they're going to come up short.
Tootin. Now with more.
Great
That was 4th and 1. And
to be mentioned.
The toss.
In that breath.
Tootin still on his feet, down the sideline, and he's forced out of bounds at the 11.
And on 4th down, who do you go to? Bayshaw, rootin', tootin'. And that's ball game, fellas.
And they should got number 30, Craig. Was it Kimbrough?
Hey,
Yeah.
If you could pull up that play, Burkhalter's touchdown.
Yeah.
Melo Kimbrough.
He laid him out.
Did you see that, Craig?
Yeah,
that
I did
guy
not.
will never forget Romello Kimbrough for the rest of his life. That guy
He's still
he's still looking for him.
He's still looking for him.
Still ringing. If he's not in concussion call right now, then that somebody needs to look into that. That guy. Listen, Romello Kimbrough, and I want to give a shout out to the rest of the tight ends, man. We didn't give them a grade. They've been kind of quietly going unnoticed. And I know, Thriller, you beat the tables every week. Hey, involve the tight ends. Why are we not doing this and that? Just wait. I'm telling you guys, I got a good feeling that we are building towards something. We know we got to be ready for that big game, right? So instead of saying, hey, don't we have a secret weapon in our back pocket? Why are we not using our secret weapon? Let's just keep our secret weapons a secret weapon for now, right? Let's see how this thing unfolds, because I got a feeling those guys will be in the mix and be part of the thing when it matters most.
All right, so right now we are about to finish this game off, but we still got a little bit of growing pains. We got to figure out some things.
Oh, again,
watch your man on that right tackle.
A&T didn't play.
71 actually. He's doing what we talked about not doing. He's waving at the team.
Play perfect, and they didn't play perfect last week.
And that referee, the white hat, comes over and says
against South Carolina State, but
hey, look here, son, you almost won the game. I'm trying not to give you no 15-yard penalty. Just cool it, okay?
If you're Coach Washington and
I'm talking to you, 71. Stop doing what you're doing. I see you waving at them. Don't do it no more.
That Aggies coaching staff, you'd rather.
Well, what you mean? I saw you. Do you want me to throw a flag? You got 14 seconds left. Let's just get out of here, son.
Rather get the win and be able to coach your guy.
All right, so we still got a little bit of growth growing up to do, but we getting better. Real quick, Craig, give me your grade for the running backs.
I'll give him an A. I mean,
only an A. You're not giving a double A plus.
I hadn't seen a 200-yard game yet.
Okay, so, all right.
Yeah, I was about to say, Craig, we got high standards.
High standards, right? Okay.
I hadn't seen the 200. No, all joking aside, the Graves and Tootin have been a tough tough duo to deal with. They hit you with the speed. They can run over you. They catch the ball out of the backfield. They're doing
Block.
everything they block. Yeah, they're doing everything. And Kimbrough he is a load. I was worried about the fullback position until he showed up on campus. Then all my inhibitions went away.
What's his classification?
And
What's
how
He's
about
a senior. He's a senior. He's a
He's a
senior.
graduate senior. And how about his unselfishness, right? He's the guy that got some carries at Morgan State. He could just as soon, say, hey, I came here to get a few carries. I should be in the Charlie Dixon role. I should have some touches. But he's doing a great job. He does have a touchdown. He does have a touchdown on the board before Bashal Tootin and Graves, right? He got one in the Duke game on the little route out in the flats. The Y banana is Jerry Gruden used to call it Spider 2 Y banana, whatever he used to say. But yeah, man, those guys are a good group, man. You got to give them an A. Again, it's hard to believe that those guys that Tootin and Graves didn't get in the box until last week, right, for the first time. Which that just goes to show you how good they've been without even scoring touchdowns. So I think the law averages will catch up, and those guys will get in the box plenty throughout the rest of the season. So A to A+ with those guys.
And Tootin has had, how many games has it been now that he's had over 100 yards? It's four.
Four.
And
he needs one more. He needs one more to tie Tariq Cohen's record, and two more he'll break it.
So he has Edward Waters the next game.
Eddie Winslow.
Eddie Winslow
coming to town.
And then so that record could very well be tied, and then the following week we go to Pittsburgh and play a Robert Morris team, and they don't want to tackle nobody. So that could be broken.
It'd be a good audition for the Steelers, right? He can get his NFL.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. All right, so what's the grade on offensive line, Doug?
Offensive line, taking everything into account, coach rotating guys in, everybody getting a crack at it, and guys gelling the way they have, especially looking at the last couple of weeks. Got to get an offensive line an A. Still room for improvement. There's some things, they don't get the A+, they get the A-, because we got to clean up the penalties, and we want to see them continue to work hard as a group. I think their toughest tests are still ahead of them. I think we show what we can do against some good teams, but don't sleep on the guys we got to face in the Big South and down the road. So
I think that Duke game was a confidence builder. I think kind of got pushed around against North Dakota State for most of the game, and then Duke we kind of stood our ground a little more. And I think they said, okay, we can play some ball. And like you said, those personnel moves will have him Caesar at center. And then sometimes you put him at guard and flipping him and Dak back and forth. And then you still got LeGrone on the bench, and you bring him in anytime you need to bring
That's a deep team.
We won the game, but Bryant was a good test for us. Those two linebackers, 55 and 40, they are solid. They were everywhere. There's some really good linebackers. And, we ran for 100, Tootin had 100 and 14, or something somewhere in there. So I think he had less than he had in the last couple of weeks, right? That's a testament to some of the things they did on defense, right? They called, there was a spurt in the game where we could not run the ball in the manner that we wanted to, right? That's kind of how things got tight there in the third. We weren't kind of moving it as an offense as we needed to, and they did some things where they got in the hole pretty quickly and was able to chase down some plays at linebacker. So, give them some credit, and I think we were able to work through some of the things that they were the challenges they were presenting to us. So, we learned from this game. I saw a couple instances where our guys, we might have missed a block or might have had to have a correction on an assignment, and the guys were kind of checking each other and, hey, man, what happened there? Right after the play, even before we knew what was going on, the offensive line knew that there was a bust, and so they were correcting those things. So that's another positive, that those guys are kind of correcting their mistakes, and they know, if I want to play, I got to be perfect.
So you give them an A, Doug?
A.
That's your grade? All right, I give them A. I give them A based on all the situation, new faces, and all that. So quarterback, what's the grade on the quarterback position? Craig.
Well, I think we've settled now. I think we settled. I think the offense is pretty much settled in now. That where Fowler's going to be the starter. I think so. I think you'll see him start. I think you'll see him. They go with him for the majority of the snaps for as we go through the conference. Once we get into conference play again, Edward Waters' game, I expect the young quarterback's going to play a lot. But when we get into the starting out with Robert Morris and going forward, I think Fowler is playing right now. Fowler's playing well. He's making good decisions. He's not trying to force anything. He's not turning the ball over. He's making good throws for the most part, and he's definitely running the football a lot. And the one thing was remarked by both Buddy Pugh and by the coach from Bryant was we had no idea the guy could run. Okay.
A lot of people have kind of written that off. You know.
We didn't know the guy was that good out of the RPO, and it caught it's caught people by surprise. So now
it's a different wrinkle.
He's not going to, like you said, he's not going to break any track record, but he is very efficient as what he's doing, and that's what we need in this type of offense. That's what we really need. We don't need a gunslinger per se. We need somebody who can do the little things, make the plays, make good judgments, and get the ball where he needs to get it when he has to throw it.
Doug, so what's your grade? What grade you gonna give the quarterbacks?
C+.
No, Craig, what's your grade?
I would say right now it would be a C. Yeah, I agree with Doug. It'd be about a C right now. I think it's getting better with him. I think he's getting better, and he's far more confident than what I saw earlier. I think the South Carolina game really helped him a lot, and and then coming in like he did and putting that game away, helped put that game away in the fourth quarter. I think it pretty much solidifies him as the starter.
So I'm a cheat, and I'm gonna say incomplete. I'm gonna give him an I because I'm still
incomplete.
Yeah. I'm cheating because
no, not fair. We gotta grade everybody out.
All right, so
if anything, you give a grade per game, and you average the grades.
Not really. I gotta go. So I'm a quarterback guy, so I'm gonna go.
I ain't gonna let him off the hook. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. You're supposed to be the quarterback guru.
I'm actually.
He's your guy. I mean, give him a grade.
but no. So this is not about Fowler. This is about the quarterback position. So I got to go with Yeager, right? And really, I hate to say it, but outside of that touchdown pass to Warren,
it'd be a D. Warren for Yeager.
Yeager is not
Yeager
quite,
be a D.
He's not quite ready for prime time. Right?
No, he's not ready yet.
And then Brick Handler, he flashed and he showed us a lot of things to get excited about, but he has to prove that he can stay healthy. And
has no body of work.
Right, and that's going to be something that's going to be kind of the stigma on him for all his career because he plays so what's the word, balls to the wall, Doug. He plays like that, so he's always going to be kind of a risk to get hurt because he's always he's going to put his shoulder through linebackers, so he has to prove that he is durable. And right now he had the Duke game, and he had a quarter. He had 2 possessions the next week, and he's on ice for a while. It's not his fault, but I'm just saying the number one ability in football is what? Availability. So right now, who's available? Your Fowler is the most available. He hasn't had a concussion. He hasn't had any injury. He's not in crutches. So right now, you go with Fowler. Fowler still has some confidence things I want him to solidify, right? He now, like Thanos said in Avengers, I'm inevitable, right? He needs to understand there's nobody better to lead this offense than him. We don't have anybody on the sideline that we can call it. He's the guy. He needs to step up and his help. If he makes a bad play, I don't want to see his whole body language just sink down. I hate when he does that because it kind of kills the whole move for the sideline. I want him to show more leadership, just the interpersonal stuff. He can make all the throws. He needs to spend this bye week working on his feet. He gets lazy in that pocket. And because he has a strong arm, he feels like he can just flick it. No, I want you to get your feet set, transfer that power, use your core, and throw. I want to see some fastballs come on your hand, and not just floating some sliders out there. Work on get with your guys, your receivers, and work on that deep ball. We can't miss these wide open fly routes. We got to connect on these fly routes. Those are game changers. So I will put the onus on Fowler to not be content with just having a good showing against Bryant. There's me and you both know, Jaden Fowler, that you have a super high ceiling, and you have not come close to reaching that yet. So use this bye week to push yourself, watch film, get back to the basics, the fundamentals. If you need some help, shoot me a text or a DM. I can give you some private coaching. Even more so than Barnett. If you need me, I'm here for you. Listen, I've been here from day one. Everybody else jumped ship. Everybody else turned their back on you, Jalen, and I was always here. Remember that. So I'm gonna give. I guess I'll give a C minus.
Hey, Doug, have you listened to this pep talk from Coach Cleat over here?
Yeah,
that's Coach Cleat right there.
Coach Cleat.
Coach Cleat. Yeah, that's him.
So look, I'm gonna give the quarterbacks with everybody included a C minus, and special teams. We've got two more. We get out of here. Special teams. That's kind of hard because we've given up a lot of yards on returns, and our coverage has not been great, but we've been doing pretty good on field goals. And did we block a punt?
We got some block punts.
We got a partial.
We got a couple of tips.
So I'm gonna go with like a B. Money Brown has been super consistent, even with the block yesterday, and I think he had a miss the week before. You can count on him. If the operation is right up front, we're protecting him. I feel pretty good about Money Brown in most scenarios. Craig, what's your grade on special teams?
We've got to shore up some things in our kickoff coverage.
Yeah.
It seems like we're giving up one or two long kickoffs every week, and
we gave one to Bryant. They got to like midfield.
Hey, and that guy is another good return guy. Like he was he has some credentials, some accolades. I mean,
we got to shore that up.
You know what?
That's why we pushed it and tried to kick away from him because he's.
But it's crazy because Money Brown can kick it. His first kickoff went to the end zone. Like they had
I would still kick it deep.
Let's kick it out to the end zone and call it a day. They're not going to run it back from 5 yards deep. But if you kick it to the 5-yard line, then all bets off. But we got to cover better.
But all in all, taking everything into account. He's 9 out of 11 or 8 out of 10 out of field goals this year.
Yeah, so he's solid.
He's deadly. I would give him a B. I'll give him a B.
Special teams.
That's what I'm saying. I'm giving special teams a B.
All right,
we've got good punt returns this year, so I'm happy
that's
with
true.
it.
So that balances out. That balances out.
Right. If we don't get that one call back, then Amante would be in the tops of the nation in terms of punt return average. Okay. I think he's averaging over, in double figures without that. But yeah, I give us a B as well. We haven't had that big one for a score yet, but
it's coming.
We played some really good, solid teams on special teams. Like the other teams we played have been good, disciplined teams with North Dakota State and Duke. And even Bryant, like I said, they had a return guy who's got good numbers. So they had a good scheme, and we faced some really solid teams. And I think we'll get better. We'll continue to get better. We put pressure on guys, and our biggest snafu was the block punt against Central, which cost us. So
I forgot about that.
We've gotten better since that moment. So
that was big. All right, so last one of the night before we get out of here, what's your grade, Craig, for coaching? What grade do you give the coaching staff? Midterm grade for the coaching staff.
Oh,
yeah. Say the best for last.
Well, if I take out the Central game, because I expressed some real displeasure in that we did not have, to me, we did not have a cohesive game plan for that game.
We did not, especially looking back with 48 pass attempts.
Yeah, that we were winging it out there, and but since then,
the midterm right now,
I would give them. If they hadn't done that substitution thing last week, I'd probably give them a B. But I give them a C plus right now. I give them a C plus. They're on the upward trend, but they still have some work to do on their in-game decision making processes.
Undefeated at home, they beat South Carolina State. They're first place in the Big South.
I would give it a C plus B minus. I give them a B minus. It's gotten better. I just like to see them clean up some things as far as the decision making process on some of the substitution patterns, especially at quarterback. I just don't like to see when a team is really rolling early in the game and you've gotten into a rhythm. I just have a real bad feeling about substituting out at that point at the quarterback position. Go ahead and put the death knell in a team. When you got a team on the ropes early, you got to knock them out. You can't play around. You got to knock them out. You can experiment. You got the rest of the game to experiment if you want to. But when you got a chance to put somebody down 21 points in the first quarter,
go with the high hand. Yeah. So, and you know what's scary, and Doug, I'll jump to you real quick, but
no, you're good.
What scared me about that is I asked Coach Washington in the post-game press conference. I said that's the one quote they didn't just transcribe for the internet. But I asked him, I said, so what was the thought process on taking out Fowler when you already up 14-0? He said, I gotta admit, I didn't know that Yeager was going in at that point, that he had already, because the plan was to always play both of them in that first half. So I guess it was just two series or three series, no matter what, and then you get 3 series. And so after the third series, they made a change, and it's like, hold on a second, y'all gotta be able to at least have some wiggle room here. You can't just be that robotic about it, and so that scares me, and it also showed me that when it comes to in-game control of the offense, Coach Washington has very little influence. He's going to delegate and defer to Chris Barnett more than most of us probably suspect. So
is quarterback the only position that the head coach should kind of be involved with, whether or not there's a substitution?
Well, he's running the defense, so he's totally involved with the defense.
No, I mean position-wise, when you go position by position, I don't know too many times where the head coach is like, wait a minute, are you subbing in Shamari Wallace right now for, generally, teams make substitutions, right? And I know it's the quarterback, and I know we generally operate as, hey, that's our starting quarterback. You don't pull the quarterback off the field until something happens. But I wouldn't say that he was over every decision when Khalil Carter jogged onto the field for Lamar Raynard, right? Like, he pretty much gives his offensive coordinator that reign, and whoever's calling it, he's the defensive guy. But if we sub a guy on defense, I don't think that Coach Washington has to give the guy the approval before he goes jogging out on the field. The game is too fast. Now, I know offense is different when you're planning to play a guy from possession to possession, but I think, like you said, if that's your game plan, that he's going to play, maybe you tap him on the shoulder and say, hey, coach, we're going with Yeager this drive. But, if he's more focused on what's going on defense, then maybe he's not so much concerned about.
Well, you know what, Doug? Y'all need to have a meeting of the minds, and y'all need to say, moving forward, okay, if somebody has a hot hand, we're going to delay our game plan was to always play both. We're going to, try to find a good way to alternate them. But if somebody's just going out on fire, we're going to let that fire keep going until it sizzles out. And
did we throw 2 touchdown passes, or did we run in 2 touchdowns?
We had to.
Did we make a throw that you're not confident that your other quarterbacks can't make, right? Like,
but
the throw,
okay,
you feel like your guy not only can he make the same throw, you feel like, hey, maybe I need to get him in there so he can make those throws and build some confidence for that guy.
So Doug,
in the end of this month, I'm gonna need that guy too. There's no doubt about it. When I build my game plan,
right.
when I want to, whatever I want to put on film for down the road later this month, all of that works together, right? Even if I don't think he's going to play against Campbell, maybe I still want to put it on film for them to have to take a peek and prepare for him, right? Maybe they need to know that they may send him in the game any moment.
All right, so moving forward, Doug, we go to Robert Morris, we go to Pittsburgh, and let's say Yeager somehow is started. Yeager goes 3 for 3. We up 21-0, but the game plan was always play Fowler, in that first half. You'll be perfectly content with taking Yeager out and putting Fowler in, even though we're up 21-0 on the road in a Big South Conference game.
We were up in the South Carolina State game, and we put Yeager in, and we put Jalen Fowler in the last minute to run the 2-minute drive. Like we substitute quarterbacks in for situations.
If you're gonna be consistent, I have to live with that. If you're gonna be consistent,
I'm just a firm believer that we're gonna need all of our weapons, and we're gonna need to sharpen them before we go into the big battle down the road, right? And if I'm a poker guy and I got my poker face, I want my runner, I want my passer, I want my wild card and hooker who you don't have film on. I need my whole deck of cards when I roll into that big one. So anything I can do, however I think is the best route to prepare, whether I want to get something on film, whether I want to get guys experience, whatever I think I need to do to be my best at the time when I think I need to be my best later in this month. And granted, we're not looking past anybody, but being realistic and kind of looking, that's a mountain we're gonna have to climb. That's somebody we're gonna have to go through. We want to win the Big South, right? So I'm prepping for that moment, and along the way, everything I'm doing, I'm building to that. And we talk about what we have and haven't seen in our scheme, where we have an attack. Some of it is dictated by what the other team does. Some of it you might not just want to show just yet, right? Maybe we know we got a little weapon in the tight end. Maybe you don't ease them out there, and put it all on film. Maybe you have that play, that little bench route or a little wheel route to the tight end that you haven't thrown out there yet, and you know the guy can make the play, but maybe you don't want to put it out there. Maybe you're doing some other things to show that you don't, to go opposite of what you normally do trend-wise, right? It's a chess match, right? And it doesn't start the week before you play a team. So we'll see,
that's all. Well, I agree with you to an extent, Doug. That's all well and true. But I like to deal more with the here and now.
Yes.
And the here and now is that we got to win the game first. Mm-hmm. That we're playing right now. Absolutely. And and I still stand by this. I just felt that the substitution at that point in the game, that early in the game, when you have a team on the ropes, and they were definitely on the ropes.
Yes.
You got to knock them out. I agree with you that you gotta play people. You gotta, show them a little bit of something different so we can have all that. But at that particular point in the game, that was just not good management. I'm
with you, Craig. I understand that. And Thriller, I'll say on the back end of that, I think you're bringing him in the game to add something to what, and I know we've seen Jalen run, but I think they're trying to add a different dynamic to the offense. One that we think that we're going to need. And again, we saw it with Brick Handler. Now, you might say that he doesn't have the same skill set. He can't run like Brick Handler. But we saw him put that move on the guy at the Central game and go down the field for the long run. The kid can run the football, right?
Yeah.
He's had the Central game. He had North, his sample size in North Dakota State game.
Long run,
A little bit of Duke, and then he was out the Duke game, and then he had the concussion. So it feels like we have a big body of work on Zach Yeager, but we don't have a huge body of work. We have the Central game, which we've all tossed in the 48 pass tip anomaly. North Dakota State, which if you want to use that to judge the guy, against those guys, they might have made a bunch of our quarterbacks look bad had they had, they did make most of our quarterbacks look bad that game.
Most of the ones that played,
so give him a chance to go out there against.
I'm not giving up on Yeager. I'm just saying.
No, that's not. That's
I agree. I agree. The time.
Oh, lost Doug. He'll be back.
Yeah, lost his voice.
Yeah, but listen,
it was awful. But I still believe that we're putting him out there because we're looking at the end game. Like, we're gonna need his playmaking ability, his legs, or somebody's legs. If Tyler goes down,
You need somebody else.
Oh, well,
Yeah, you got it.
let's
You
try
got to
to get.
play. Yeah.
I'd like to
Yeah.
say that the kid has some reps and some meaningful experience, right?
So what grades you give him, Doug? What's the overall grade?
Quarterback room?
Yeah.
I gave the quarterback room a C.
No. The coaches.
Oh, the coaches. Oh, I give the coaching staff, drum roll, please. No, I'm playing. I give the coaching staff a B minus, and this is why.
Okay.
I think this stretch of games after the Central game may be some of Coach Washington's best coaching. Right?
Okay, I agree with
staff.
that.
And this is because let's just be honest. You know, the world was coming to an end after the Central game, right?
Yes,
some
it
people wanted
was.
to go on the next day, and there wasn't a lot of faith, you know, from the Aggie Nation. It's like, where we're going, what we're doing. Will we ever win a game again? And we took a deep dive into the film, and we know the guys, we know our team, and we listened to Coach Washington's message. And just like he said in the press conference, just keep stacking success, right? Coach Washington reminds me more of like a baseball manager, right? He's just standing there on the side, just doing his thing, you know, managing his team.
It's the marathon.
He's managing his team, right?
Yeah.
He's not too concerned about that outside noise. Even when the outside noise is inside, right in his face in his press conference, right? He's still just kind of like
Victorious COM.
Thank you for not responding to that, right? And he's just coaching his guys. He's a football coach, and he's just doing what he does. And you hear it in the kids and how they feel about him. You hear it in the fact that he keeps echoing this team's not going to quit. We're seeing the improvements over some of the things that bothered us about last year, or Aggie Nation complained about with the penalties. Hey, I told you guys it's a process, and we're kind of seeing the fruits of some of the labor and the changes that he made over the offseason with the coaching staff. So we're climbing and we're growing, and to pull out of that hole that we were in, and you know, to get us to where we're like, hey man, we're 2-3 and we're first place in the Big South, which we all said is the best we could hope for, where we like to be at this point. I mean, you got to take the cap off to those guys. We haven't had, although we had the discipline talks, you know, we're not having a lot of off-field stuff where we're, you know, getting into the mischief like at the end of the Gardner-Webb game. You got to give them credit for doing it without some of the starters.
And listen,
right?
listen. He had to put some guys who were expected to be key playmakers. He had to put them on ice for a few weeks. You know, and you can say, you know, whatever explanation you want to officially put on McDaniel and Porsche and Salahuddin, whatever. You know, those are all coaches' decisions. Okay, so
hey,
you know,
not to mention missing 55-60% of your coaching staff, right? Your protege went out to take other jobs.
Yeah, so that's big.
Think about that offseason and where we were in December and their last talk and how guys felt. You know, going into the offseason, we were on radio silence, and where we've gone since then, and feeling pretty good about where we are as a team. We got a chance at this thing. So,
yeah, we gotta go. So, Troy, real quick. First of all, turn your sound off to the background. All right, go ahead. So you got the second to last word, Troy. What's going on?
All right, three things.
Yeah,
I'm not giving anybody an A. Running backs don't get an A because I've seen Tootin taunting people. Matter of fact, he could have scored a touchdown against South Carolina State when he hit that guy out of bounds. Yeah. He could have dove into the end zone, but he was so intent.
That's you swore about Tariq Cohen, but I said the same
thing.
Bro. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm thinking forward to playoffs if we can get there. This team needs to get better. That's why.
Pump. We are 2-3. Y'all talking about? Doug is talking about holding off plays. You talking about playoffs. Doug is talking about sandbagging, wait for Campbell a homecoming. I was trying to beat Eddie Winslow in a week, man.
Yeah, we're gonna get him. We're gonna get him. I think because they can't handle this running game, and I think we can stop their run. But so nobody gets an A. The offensive line didn't get an A from me because of all the penalties, the unsportsmanlike, you know, getting thrown out of the game.
Has that been offensive line? Have they been?
Oh yeah. Tariq Stewart.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, Lee on the other side. You know, they got to do better.
Okay.
Let me settle this quarterback issue. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I was surprised that they kept Yeager in there so many series. I'm cool with them bringing them in, you know, getting them some time. But it was just so many series.
But Troy, you understand, he was a starter coming out of fall camp. So he was. So at some point, they deemed him to be the best option for this season. That was the coaching staff decision going into the Duke Mayo Classic. So he had won that battle. So that's probably why they're still they can't quit him yet. You know what I'm saying? They still go back to give him a shot.
Oh, I think if we quit him, we're gonna be in trouble, man. We need a backup quarterback. We need somebody that can come in the game and do some stuff.
But I think they're still trying to see if there's anything they can find a way to get him as the guy. I think Coach Washington, for whatever is worth, he sees the ceiling on Jalen Fowler, and his perspective is different from my perspective and Jalen Fowler's perspective. His ceiling is lower than what I think it is. Coach Washington.
Well, I don't necessarily have a problem with that, but I don't know what he's thinking. I'm just saying, what I see right now is Jalen Fowler is the guy, and we need to get Yeager some time. I was just surprised that they kept him in there so long, and it seemed like we lost momentum.
We did.
But yeah, absolutely. I think we got to play, and we got to have a serviceable, acceptable backup quarterback, and it looks like Yeager's going to be it for now.
So you want a package for Yeager every game. Every game you want to see some of Yeager in some capacity.
Absolutely, absolutely. I like that Raynard, Quick, Khalil Carter. Matter of fact, I think we got Khalil Carter syndrome. We don't have a backup quarterback yet that we are okay with. Hey, did you all see that the fifth quarterback was out there warming up, number 12?
Yeah, he was.
I didn't see that. That's good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he was.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he was Fowler before Fowler went before he went back in the game with the Jaeger.
Okay.
But he was out there, we'll see.
What's his size? How's he look? He looked the part, or he's what is it? Kind of small.
He's kind of a brick handler size, I think.
He's about 6'2".
He's bigger,
6'2", 6'1".
A little thicker. Just
yeah, he's a lot heavier. Yeah, he's a lot heavier.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might do some research on that guy. I just thought he was walk on or something. So he's actually in the mix.
He can fly.
Yeah.
We were talking about that thing, but
yeah. Let me say this too.
Yeah.
Jalen Fowler responsible for 41 points while he's a quarterback. Game before this one. Jalen Fowler responsible for 24 points this last game when he was a quarterback.
There you go.
So, I mean, he's coming along, y'all. I think
don't lie.
The light bulb is coming on, and I love seeing it. I just hope we can get a good backup quarterback. And Jalen, the big issue I think is more about ball security. That's the thing that probably hurts him the most.
And that's what he's focused on. That's what that's why he's running low, and he's kind of methodical about how he's protecting that ball, in space. But obviously someone talked to him and he's making an effort. He's not just willy-nilly holding like a loaf of bread anymore,
Yeah, and I like the fact that he's running the ball a little more and keeping defenses off balance. He might not get a lot of yards, but to have that theme there that they gotta be more honest. Yeah.
He's getting about 38. I think the last two games he had like 38 and 37 yards on the ground, respectively, in both of those games. So he's adding something to the mix with his feet.
Yep.
But sure, we gotta get out. It's almost 2 hours. We gotta go. Hey, Craig, give me a last word so we can sign off.
Well, it's bye week, so it's gonna be a lot of interesting games out there this weekend to keep track of, both in the Big South and in the MEAC. And Jackson State's got to go down to Alabama State, and Deion's been doing a lot of talking, so I'm gonna be interested to see how that turns out. So yeah, there's a lot of good football to watch this weekend.
They're gonna blow them out. They're gonna blow them out.
Hey, that's why they play the game. You never know.
Yeah, that's true.
You never know. You
never know.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's who's the coach over there? It's not Connell. Who's the coach over at Alabama State?
Eddie Robinson Jr. He actually played on the team that blew us out in the Heritage Bowl, I think, Alabama State that year. He was on that team as a linebacker.
91, 92, one of those years.
Oh, yeah. And he's a Q. So in case y'all wonder about that.
I was wondering. All right. So gentlemen, that's good. You got anything to say, Doug?
No, I want to give a shout out to Kalisha McNair, she joined me in the ring of the cowbell. When the team comes in at 5 man, I'm over there. Probably have one other person in the past come over there and kind of, welcome the team up the hill when they get off the bus, when they arrive at the stadium. So the guys know I'm out there yelling. I'm calling them out. I'm shaking my cowbell. And I actually heard I heard another cowbell off in the distance, and here comes somebody else, Kalisha McNair up there shaking her cowbell too. So we want more of y'all to come out, man. We want to start some tradition, and we like to welcome those guys to the stadium. I know it's a little early, 5 o'clock or 2 hours before game time. You should be able to come out there and welcome the team. It's just me right now, but anybody else want to join me? Put the fish grease down. BJ, put the fish grease down. Wade, everybody, y'all come on, put that brew down. Come on over there. And when you see those buses come up, come on over there and let's welcome the team up the hill, man. Let's start a new tradition.
I like that. Okay, cowbell crew. All right, guys, we got to get out of here. So for A&T Roy, Doug, the Rain Man Brown, and Mr. President Craig Turner. I am Samaj Marsh. This has been Blue Death After Dark, and we will see you next week. Peace. Thank you, Pride.
Thank you, Pride.
Thank you, Pride.